Hello, in today's video I would like to refer to a conversation between Hsiung, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, and Natalie Fulton, a video titled The Case Against Consumer Change. Listening to this conversation as a European, I have an impression that these influential activists, and especially Wayne, cannot be denied the merits. In this case, they sound very naive. I wonder whether the US didn't receive any news about what was happening in Europe in the spring, and whether it didn't force them to verify their views and draw new conclusions. Or maybe America is such a completely different world from Europe that there is a completely different social engineering working there. But even if American vegans are reluctant to learn the lessons from European experience, American farmers can be faster and learn effectiveness from European animal agriculture. Let's listen to an excerpt from the conversation and I will get back to you with my commentary.
I've just seen a massive shift in both the environmental and animal rights movement over the last 10 years away from personal consumer habits towards these systemic changes. And I think that is a crucial part of the success we started seeing over the last 10, 15 years at the political and systemic level. It's just a question of narrative strategy. Should our narrative be focused on the bad things consumers are doing or the bad abusive animals that corporations are doing? We weren't picking the right terrain because we were so focused on purity ethics and pointing out that 99% of people are bad that we didn't realize that that framing is not a good framing. It's not the terrain that is best for the animals. The best terrain for the animals is at the systemic level, focusing on the abuses of factory farms and slaughterhouses and giving ordinary consumers an opportunity to be a part of this rather than seeing them as enemies of our movement.
Yeah.
So
I think about that a lot. Like there's that old idea, like the obstacle is the way. And for so long we've thought of non-vegans and meat eaters as the obstacle to our success. But what if we can actually use them for support? Like find the areas where we agree. Almost everyone agrees that factory farming is really bad, right?
Yeah.
That makes up over 99% of animal products. So if we can get meat eaters and everyone to agree, hey, let's ban factory farming. To me, that just seems like a way that we can win, as opposed to, yeah, you're right, shaming them and telling them that what they're doing is bad and trying to get them to make this big change that we don't even really know how much of an effect it actually has for the animals.
Because it's not consumer change. That's
not about us convincing people to go vegan. Another thing I like to say is that, like, I think veganism is the end goal of society. Like, we want a society where everyone's vegan, but we can't use veganism to get to that end goal. Because when you remove yourself from the system of animal exploitation, that's doing nothing to actually overthrow the system. So we need something else to overthrow the system. And then I just like the visualization of veganism, the end state, but not what's going to get us there.
So you're with me that activists who eat meat are more vegan than vegans who don't do activism.
Natalie is so sure that everybody agrees that factory farming is bad. So my question is, do you think that everybody agrees that overuse of pesticides is bad, or overuse of antibiotics is bad? Or do you think that everybody agrees that ecological, healthy food is good? Or maybe you think that everybody would agree that reduction in usage of pesticides in agriculture would be something positive. Maybe you think that giving more support to ecological farmers in the form of subsidies would be something positive and welcomed by society. Or maybe you think that everybody agrees that preventing food loss and waste is something positive and everybody would support it. Please take a look. This is the strategy proposed by European Commission called Green Deal. And this is the part related to agriculture. Let's take a look. Legislative framework for sustainable food systems. The aims to accelerate and facilitate the transition to sustainable food systems, whatever it means. Doesn't sound horrible, or you think that everybody might agree? We see food loss and waste prevention. Reducing food waste has enormous potential for reducing the resources we use to produce the food we eat. Fighting the food waste is a triple win. It saves So Natalie is so sure that we can easily say to society, hey, come on guys, let's fight together against factory farming. And she expects that society will go, oh yeah, let's do it. But here we can see that European Parliament proposed, let's prevent food loss and waste. This way we can reduce the resources we use to produce the food we eat, which sounds more realistic to get social support for. What else European Commission was trying to propose? Sustainable food consumption and facilitating the shift towards healthy, sustainable diets. Path towards a fair, healthy and environmentally friendly food system. So there are proposals of very soft animal welfare reforms, nothing that could deprive people of meat. But there were some concepts of restrictions, especially restrictions to big factory farms. So farmers were already complaining that, for example, if about cows, that for herds above 150 cows, they would have less chances to get subsidies. So European Commission wanted to fight in a very soft way with huge factory farms. Not banning them, but giving them less subsidies, and instead of them subsidizing more ecological farmers. They also wanted to reduce the amount of pesticides and antibiotics used in agriculture. Do you think they could rely on society's support? The final result was that farmers made such a huge mess all around Europe. They organized so many road blockades. They blocked the cities, city centers, highways. They threw manure onto the streets, in city centers, on the highways, in front of politicians' houses to threaten them. It was happening not only in Poland, but also in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, France. Farmers were very aggressive. Moreover, many other professional groups and ordinary people suffered because of all those disruptions they did. And one of the strongest professional groups in Poland are truck drivers. They couldn't do their jobs. They had the reasons to be very, very angry because they were losing money. And this is a story not about Poland, it's a story about the whole Europe. So do you think that societies, European societies, angry with all those disruptions, were against farmers, or they supported their demands to quit all kind of restrictions on pesticides usage, antibiotics usage, against animal welfare reforms, against promoting ecological food production, against subsidies, preferably going to ecological farmers? European nations supported demands of farmers against their own interest. They should be interested in receiving healthy food. Societies should be interested in reduction of pesticides, in receiving more healthy food, yes or no? But the reality is that the vast majority of people were expressing support, unlimited support to farmers who are threatening people. They want to deprive you of meat, of pigs, of ham, of bacon. They want to feed you with insects. They were threatening people that someone wants to limit availability of cheap meat. People were against even the smallest animal welfare reform. So now my question to Natalie and Wayne is, how do you want to make the systemic change against society? Society shows very strong resistance against organic food production, against restriction on the use of pesticides and antibiotics, against animal welfare. How on earth does Natalie think she has the power to change the entire system, to destroy one of the most powerful, most influential, richest and the most aggressive industries in the world? against the will of society. European Commission had no power to even reduce the amount of pesticides. Top politicians had not enough power to make the slightest change because Europe was already about to burn. This is what farmers usually do. And this is what they were declaring. They were openly declaring they will destroy Europe if anybody will dare to limit them. They were even protesting against the limitations in promotion of meat. They were even protesting, the farmers were even protesting against the drop of demand on meat. They were openly demanding the demand on their products. And you know what the result is? No politician right now even dares to mention the words like ecology, animal welfare. This is half of my speech I recorded, but I will break editing this video at this point because my last video, which I worked on for a couple of hours so far, was watched by 30 people. And if this video also will be watched by a handful of people, my message won't get through. Therefore, please let me publish the rest of this video in another episode sometime soon. Let me get back to this topic and continue. I think this is very important. As vegans, we should have some very serious conversation about what we are doing, where we are heading, to be aware who we are fighting with, aware of their methods and their strength. So I will get back to you soon. Thank you very much for your attention today. Bye.